What's up, everybody? Tricks Ridiculous back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to talk about operations or lack thereof and what it means for the game. Still working on my Jane Foster build. What you're seeing in the background is a little bit of a preview of the build, but there's definitely some major upgrades to still make to the build. So I really want it to be tight before I release it for you guys, but be on the lookout for that. But that's besides the point. We're going to talk about operations, the lack thereof, and what that means for the game. Before we do, be sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and be sure to subscribe if you're new and you're not already subscribed. If you're a fan of Marvel's Avengers, plenty more content on the way. But going back to the operation, so this is a couple days old at this point, but basically what they have said on the most recent Crystal Dynamics live stream, Brian Wagner has confirmed that they are currently not working on any operations that are the size, that are as big as Kate or Clint's. Now, this is a very damning statement because Kate and Clint's operations were actually the small ones by comparison. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means a couple of things. If you're a veteran viewer of my channel, you will know that I have criticized Crystal Dynamics endlessly about how they should go about future updates to this game, and what that is less story-driven content that is just played one-off, right? And more content that builds upon our ritualistic activities, things that we can come back to day in, weeks in, months in, etc. Think of, priority missions, hives, vaults, different game modes, the raid, the OLT. These are all things that add to the game. More things like that, more raids, more OLTs, horde mode, patrol mode, all of these things, any of these things, even just one, would be a huge upgrade to what we can currently do in the game, because it's something that's replayable. Everything that they add to the game, in my opinion, here on out, at least the major things, should be replayable content. Now, we do know that Cloning Labs is coming, and then after that, it's really anybody's guess. The common guess is that the Kree invasion is coming. We do know 100% that Ms. Marvel and the Kree invasion are coming at some point. Is it the next thing after the Cloning Labs? We don't actually know that, but it is coming at some point, and that'll probably be the next big story beat that we get. But to the point of what Brian had said, that is not even going to be the size of Kate or Clint's operations. That is a little suspect. Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to have my cake and eat it too, right? I am all for less story-driven content and more endgame content. I want to make that clear. But if you're going to remove the story-driven content, the expectation is that you're doing the other type of content. Now, here we are. We have not actually gotten any major story beats in the game since the Black Panther expansion, and you can say the Claw Raid, which happened like 2 months later, but realistically, I consider that all kind of one story beat, right? So Black Panther, the War for Wakanda, all of that jazz is really the latest story development that we've had in the world of Marvel's Avengers. Now, if they're going to tell the story through little snippets going forward, that's fine. But if they're not working on any more operations like that, what the hell have they been working on? It's been 7 months since we got the Claw Raid, and the only piece of content we've gotten was Jane Foster, who, whether you want to admit it or not, is just a Thor clone, excuse me. I know that's harsh, right? But it is what it is. Yes, she has some uniqueness. Yes, there is some, difference in her kit. Yes. But the point is, most of her kit, most of her animations, abilities, emotes, takedowns, all of it, all just a copy and paste, all right? So very few things were actually net new for Jane Foster, okay? So if this is the amount of content we get after 7 months while they are not working on story content, that's not really a good trade-off, right? It doesn't make sense to me that you can forego story content, you're going to make the conscious decision to forego the story content, freeing up resources, right? Because if you're not working on operations, you're not working on story, your developers, your resources at the studio are freed up. They can work on other things. But we're not seeing the payoff on the other end. We're not seeing it that stuff is actually coming out. Now, I'll reserve a little bit of judgment for the next couple of months here, but they've already told us that the difference. So right now we're on patch 2.5. They said that 2.5 to 2.6 is going to be a longer duration than 2.4 to 2.5. So 2.4 through 2.5 was pretty much 1 month, almost on the nose. So if we are expecting that it's going to be longer than that, then we're going to have to wait over a month for any type of new anything, which I guess is not so unreasonable. I wouldn't be mad about every 2 months, right? If we got something every 2 months, I would say that's a pretty good flow of content as long as the stuff is building to the game continuously, right? But currently, it's not. They've essentially taken their cake and eaten it too. They've essentially told us they're not working on operations. They want to work on more end game stuff, but then also not giving us the end game stuff. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag there. Like I said, a little bit of a cake and eat it too situation. So like I said, I'll reserve a majority of this judgment for, let's revisit this again by end of year and see if longer term, the removal of operations and the move, and mind you, that includes removal of the roadmap, all that stuff. It's all in one, right? And it's them saying they're going to give more of a, smaller updates more frequently. That's been their MO. That's been their quote unquote game plan for a while now. So let's revisit this topic by end of year and just see if they really were true on that word. We'll see if that's really something. And I know it's easy to just come and say like nothing will ever be good enough, blah, blah, blah. But, I don't think it's being unreasonable to think that something other than a near clone of a current character is reasonable content after 7 months for a live service game. I just, like I said, it's easy to think that people just have too high a standard sometimes, and that is true in a lot of cases. But in this case and in Crystal Dynamics' case, the bar has been dropped through the floor, and that's really where your standards are now, and they're having trouble basically passing that. So that's where I stand on it. We'll have to see. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you think they're going to make good on more frequent updates, that they're going to be end game updates that all players can engage with, or are we just going to get kind of more of the same slowness without actually getting the story content that would support that. Let me know down in the comments. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. That's it from me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.